We're here in Attleboro, Massachusetts at Day Spring Academy. It's the semifinal round of the NEACS, whatever it's called, doesn't matter, tournament between the Barrington Bengals and the BCA Eagles. BCA, of course, everybody in this joint knows, undefeated on the year, have not won a game by less than 10. Had a little bit of a scare in the WCAC pennant game against Sizer 2 days ago, but came through. Wow, 2 days ago, that was yesterday. We are on a Thursday night now, this game being delayed a bit. There are fans and players from all sorts of schools waiting on the right side. It's not my most favorable place to film from, but we're going to have to work with what we have to work with. On the Barrington bench, their coach said if Jesus can rise from the dead, then we can win this game. There is no reason we cannot win this game. Well, the Eagles are going to have a few objections to that today, but they don't win the opening tip-off. Here's number 23, trying to pull off the subset, getting it over to 22 in the corner. Back out to 23 with a 3. Missed it well short. We're 12 seconds into this game, and for a second it looked like Barrington was picking up some mojo to start it out, but that shot, oh, here's Costello wide open. Lucas Costello didn't hit the shot, but Cardinale's there to put it through on the second chance. And immediately I noticed the backboards are not see-through. How interesting is that? Here's 23, defended by Romero and Costello. 22 in the corner with a 3. They got it! 23 hit the 3, and Barrington are up 3-2. 40 seconds into this one. Here's Braden Moraes. Out to Bechet. Now Romero in the corner, drives up right outside the paint and puts up a layup. Eagles back on top, it's 4-3. We are still in the first minute of play here tonight. Here's number 23 of Barrington getting it over the... Here's one now in the paint. 23 again with a 3. Missed it high, and Braden Moraes rebounds it. Braden Moraes made that unbelievable play against Sizer, gets to the Cardinale, wide open in the paint. It's 6-3 Eagles. And a timeout taken, it seems, by Barrington. 6-3 Eagles, 6:46 left in the first period. 1 point of strategy I've noticed is that there's no shot clock in this match, and giving Barrington's defense isn't the most lockdown thing in the world. I think if the Eagles pull ahead this game, they can seal it without even having to do much after that. You spend 30-35 seconds each possession. Here's 21 back out to 23, defended by Justin Morgan. Lucas Costello out of the game after the timeout. Morgan replacing him. Here's 22 drifting to his right, back out to 23, pump fakes. Defended by Morgan very well, and Romero almost picked off that pass. Here's 23 with a 3. Got it. He's knocked down the 3. It's 6-6, and we could have a game here tonight. Barrington trying to pull off the unthinkable. Here's Moraes folding one up, doesn't go. Cardinale with the rebound. They've got Morgan wide open. They give it to him. Justin Morgan. Pass out to Cardinale. Now here's Moraes from right outside the paint. It's 8-6. Good patience by Justin Morgan. He didn't even take the shot after he waited so long for the ball and ended up with 2 good points for them. And here's 23 missing a 3. Number 1 defended really well by 3 Eagle defenders. He gets it to a wide open 32. Now defended by Morgan. He moves to his left, right outside the paint. Here's 23. Pump fakes, puts up a 3. He's got it! Barrington putting up an unbelievable first 3 minutes of this game. They lead 9-8. Here's Morgan from the corner. Back out to Jack Romero. Here's Braden Moraes, defended by 23 and 1. Now Ben Bechet getting it to Cardinale. Cardinale, it's on and 1! The whistle blew and the shot looked questionable, but the last hit dropped through. It's 10-9 and another chance for Michael Cardinale, who had 6 blocks in the first half of last game and started racking up points in the second half, en route to a 13-point victory. This shot doesn't go. That might have been planned because they've rebounded it. Here's Moraes with a 3. Pops off the rim and doesn't go through. And Ben Bechet couldn't force the jump ball. That would have been Eagle ball back. They lead by 1, but Barrington had the ball just inside 5 minutes of the quarter. That pass is tipped off and goes out of bounds. It's going to remain Barrington ball. Oh, we are being kept on our feet today. We are. Here's one. Good pass out to 32. 32 driving up from the corner. He stepped out of bounds. Oh, no. Looked for a second he was fouled. But he stepped out of bounds. Not what you want to see, but now they foul Brandon Moraes. They tried to tip the ball out. It was both 22 and number 1, I think, made contact with him. Who they will rule the foul on in the scorebooks, we do not know, and it's BCA ball. Leading by 1. 4:40 remain in the first period. Here's Brandon Moraes. Drifts to his left. Nobody near him. Getting it over to Justin Morgan. Now takes back in. Here's Romero. Back out to Moraes. Morgan, corner, 3. Doesn't go. Cardinale with a brilliant rebound. He missed the shot. He could have put a second chance shot up. He chooses not to. Here's Romero. Doesn't hit the 3. It goes out of bounds. They rule it Barrington ball. At last hit Cardinale. Very frustrating for BCA that they did not come up with even a single point on that possession. Here's 23. Out to 1, defended by Justin Morgan. He moves to his left. Gets it back out to the way. He twirls around into the paint, but he loses the ball. It's a foul. It's a foul on BCA. It's on Jack Romero, and number 21 will inbound it in a surprisingly tight first quarter. Here's 23 wide open. Oh, but he couldn't hit the 3 this time. Here's 22. He's trying to fight for it. It's 32, actually. It's a jump ball. And if they follow the rules correctly, it's going to be BCA ball, and that's just what they say. Here's Brandon Moraes down the sideline, past half court. Back out to Romero, drives up from the corner into the paint. It's an and 1 for Jack Romero. The biggest lead for either team so far being just 3, and Jack Romero has a chance to extend this game to a 2-score lead for either team for the first time with 3:49 remaining in the first period. It's a 12-9 game. Romero waits. Puts it in the air and scores. It's a 4-point game. Here's 23, trying to get the Barrington offense back into it. Getting it out to 1. Nobody open. This was really the first team they started to press a lot against. Here's 11 from the corner. He could shoot this. 10, not 11, my bad. That bounce pass goes awry. It goes past half court, and they'll accept their fate. It'll be Eagle ball. No. My apologies, because I don't 100% know where the ball would have been had it been a backcourt violation, but with the ball rolling out of bounds, I think they should have still touched the ball anyway, because the Eagles have a better chance to score here. They got Morgan wide open. Here's Romero getting it over to Moraes with a 3. Off the rim multiple times and doesn't go through. Here's number 1 now. Defended by Justin Morgan. 21 tries to set up a screen. Fails to do so. My apologies for bad camera work there. Here's 23. Defended by Moraes. Spins around. 23 drives up, floats one up, and got it. 13-11. Moraes now. Past half court. Defended by 22. One-handed pass out to Bechet. Here's Morgan. Cardinale in the paint. Cardinale's got 2 easy points. He's not stopping, Obi. 4-point game. Here's 23. Out to number 1. Defended by Morgan a few yards away. Here's a 3-pointer for number 1. Doesn't go. And a great rebound by Jack Romero to get it back to BCA. Out to Moraes. They got Cardinale. Couldn't handle the pass. And they give it right back. Hit his fingertips, it seems. And now number 1 with a 3. Misses. Cardinale put it through. Disastrous call by me on the play and a timeout taken. It's 15-14. We exit the timeout. An incredibly close game here so far. 2 minutes and 9 seconds in the first quarter. 15-14 BCA. Though still, the mindset among this team has to be simply when are we going to pull through? Assuming it happens, it's starting to get A little worried by the second. Here's Braden Moraes. Brilliant pass out to Cardinelli, and Cardinelli traveled. Barrington get it back down by just 1. He put the shot through, and for a second it looked like another round 1. For the last, he took a step with it. No arguments on the call there. And that pass is picked up. It's Moraes, and he's fouled. For a second, it looked like he had an even cleaner repeat of his brilliant game-changing play a night ago. He's gonna get 2 shots from the line for that one. My goodness, they ruined the moment. A little scuffle happening over there, but Moraes prepares for his first shot. Puts it up but not through. Shot is no good. So nothing comes from that tech. Minus the fact that remains BCA ball. .146 in the quarter, 15-14 BCA. Here's Romero. Romero has scored. Brilliant, brilliant. 97 seconds remaining in the quarter. It's 17-14. Here's 23. He missed it off the side of the back, but pops it in the air, and it's going to remain Barrington ball. Great play by 32 to keep it in bounds. And 32 gets it over to 22. What a play by 22. Now here's 32. 32. Hey! Missed the shot off the side of backboard. It goes out of bounds. And so, I'll say this quietly, but perhaps some weaknesses in Barrington's shooting game have arisen from that play, but they've still been able to put up 14 points against one of the best defenses in central Massachusetts. Or will they say it was last tipped by a BCA defender? That makes more sense. Here's 32 from the corner, directing traffic, trying to drive up, trying to bully his way past Boucher and gets it over to 23. 23 with a 3, missed it short. This time I wasn't going to say it before it happened. That will be my biggest embarrassment of my career. We should probably delete this game later, or delete that moment from this game. I don't need anybody finding out about that. Just kidding. Here's Ben Boucher. Oh, that pass. Oh, somehow Costello came up with that, but he missed the shot. He had a chance to give the Eagles their biggest lead so far this first quarter. Instead, it's Barrington ball. Interesting pass over to 32, but the last he has the ball. Bounce pass over to number 1, who moves to his right, defended by Costello. 30 seconds on the game clock. 22. Defended by Romero. Over the 1 in the corner. Number 1, defended very well by Boucher. They're running out of time, but of course there's no shot clock. Here's 23 over the 1, still beyond the line. Number 1 with a 3. Doesn't go, and the Eagles will get it one final time this quarter. 5 seconds to go. Here's Moraes. Braden Moraes at the buzzer. That's the quarter. 17-14 Eagles after 1. We go to the second after one of the most brilliant first quarters I've ever seen in high school play. With beautiful play on both sides of the ball from both teams, minus an excessive amount of fouls on the Barrington side. There'll be Barrington ball. Number 1 inbounding it around half court. Here's 23 now. Moraes in the area. And the pass is tipped in the air and picked off by Braden Moraes. Braden Moraes driving down in the paint, and Braden Moraes has scored. You can always rely on Braden Moraes, but also a great tip-off into the air by Jack Romero. Brilliant teamwork. It's their biggest lead tonight, a 5-point lead in the second quarter. Here's 1 defended by Costello, getting it back out to 22. 22. Brilliant move to his left. Forces Romero to jump up, and 21 couldn't handle the pass. Huge mistake there by number 21 of Barrington and BCA. Trying to use this possession to perhaps pull through a bit. Here's Justin Morgan with a 3. It doesn't go. And it's Barrington ball briefly. And they'll still say it is Barrington ball. I think that might have something to do with where Costello Bronco was. Because obviously the ball last hit off of Barrington player. I mean, there's no question like that. So I'll trust the refs on this one though. Here's 23. Defended by Moraes, getting it to 1 in the corner. Number 1 back out to 23. He's in the corner now, drives up, floater, and he missed. After he started off really hot to begin the game, he's missed 3 shots in a row. Here's Brandon Moraes out of Cardinale in the paint. Cardinale. It's a 7-point game. 6 unanswered points for the Eagles. 6 minutes and 40 seconds in the first half. Here's number 1, defended by Costello, trying to get his team back on track. Back out to 23, again 23, missed the 3. And it's gonna be not a jump ball, but it goes out of bounds. The referees are gonna say it's BCA ball. Here's Brandon Moraes. Past half court. Back out to Costello. Now Moraes into Romero on the paint. Here's Morgan. Back out to Moraes. Costello's wide open. Takes the pass. Puts up a 3. Doesn't sink it in. A little scramble on the ground. It's a foul. The foul, they're going to say it's on 23 of Barrington. I thought for sure that was on Lucas Costello Ronco. But it's going to remain BCA ball. Leading by 7. Just over 6 minutes in the first half. Here's Romero. What a play by Jack Romero. It's a 9-point game. He reached into the air. He touched the skies. Here's 22, back out to 21. 23 into the paint, dancing around, but he missed the layup. Trying to get a little too fancy. Now, but here's Romero. Again, Jack Romero. Non si credo. It's 25-14. And that pass, almost identical to a play we saw a couple of minutes ago, and BC get it back. And now, maybe just now, already with a 10-0 run, might start to run away with it, as everybody in this building likely expected them to do. Barrington doing a great job, especially in the first quarter, hanging on to this one. Here's Jack Romero out to Cardinale. And they are just dominating the paint in this one. I think they have, what, 1-3 the entire game? Maybe 2. Either way, there's been a lot of shots from the paint made by both teams, especially BCA. Here's 23. Fuller doesn't go, and the cold streak continues for the Barrington offense. Here's Costello wide open from the corner. Oh, but the pass was too high for Cardinale. Here's 23. Out to 22. Defended by Romero. In the corner, 4:45 in the clock in 22, missed the 3 too far, and a good rebound. And that's down to Jack Romero! Dio! It's Jack Romero! It's 29-14, and a timeout taken. In the first 3 minutes and 26 seconds of the second quarter, the BCA offense has equaled everything the Barrington offense did in the first quarter, and 1 point less than they had. They now have over doubled their lead. It's 29-14. Barrington calling that timeout, desperate to get back on track. After just a lot of miscues on both sides of the ball. Jack Romero, 2 slipping passes 3 times. Here's 22. Heavily contested shot. Don't know what he's doing there. Here's Romero. Oh my, Romero again. They cannot stop him in this second quarter. 31-14. Here's number 21. Floater and Barrington are unable to score. And a great play is blocked by Michael Cardinale. It's going to remain Barrington ball. But it's great to see that defensive effort we saw from him so many times a night ago. Or an afternoon ago, to be more accurate. If they make it, assumingly the final will be tomorrow night at 7:15. Expect an absolutely unbelievable atmosphere there. Here's number 32. He traveled. I could definitely see him take a step or two. Costello getting it over to Brandon Moraes, who's going to take it past half court. Out to Jack Romero. Romero from the paint. Floater doesn't go. A rare mistake by Jack Romero in this second quarter. Here's number 1, defended by Costello. Good move, but can he translate it into points? Number 1, back out to 21. 3:33 in the half. Here's 22 with another contested shot. That was some shot. It's going to be white ball. Ben Bechet coming in for Justin Morgan. Or are they going to say it's going to remain Barrington ball? That shot was tipped, which explains where it went. Here's 23 from the corner. Missed the 3. And a little fight for it. That's a jump ball. And I believe, and I am right about that, it's BCA possession. There was 1 jump ball in the first quarter, and it went to BCA after Barrington somehow won the tip-off. Here's Ben Bechet in the paint. Back out to Maurice. Maurice with a 3. Hayes got the 3. Textbook Brandon Maurice on that play. A 3 from down the middle. It's a 20-point game. Almost getting nostalgia to the earlier points of the season before we had little playoff games to worry about. But it's a 19-0 run for BCA. Here's 22 from the corner. Drives up and he missed. Maurice rebounds. Costello ends up on the ground. We know he has a broken knee. Here's Romero. This is unbelievable. Jack Romero out of this world. At 23, it looked like that one went out of bounds and don't count it. Defended very well. This shot doesn't go. And they're running out of time to even put a single point on the board in the second quarter. Pass is tipped in the air by number 32. More subs, and Barrington have just about taken their entire team out except for number 1. The Eagles, of course, have not diverted from their starting 6 today. Here's Romero to Costello in the corner. Costello couldn't hit the 3, but Maurice almost put it through. 1 hand, second chance. That's a foul. He tried to force a jump ball. That would have been Barrington ball anyway, but they called a foul instead. Barrington ball desperately trying to regroup. After they've given up 21 unanswered points this quarter. Here's number 1 missing a 3 to his left. Now the scoreboard is a lot more similar than it was in the previous meeting. Justin Morgan comes in for Michael Cardinale, of course. You don't want Cardinale to be injured. And Justin Morgan is a good strategic move to put in. He's an excellent shooter, and so it makes, eventually people have to double team, or they can't double team. So that leaves either him or like Costello open. And they're dangerous with the 3s. Brandon Maurice missed a 3 there. Ben Bechet recovers it. Here's Brandon Maurice. Back out to Justin Morgan. Maurice now, pump fakes, drives in the paint, gives it to Ben Bechet. Bechet couldn't hit the shot, no fouls called. It's Barrington ball with 93 seconds in the first half. Here's number 1. Stepping back a bit, defended by Costello. Number 1 moves to his right now. Gets it out to 3. 3 with a 3. Doesn't go. It tried to bank it through, but the form was not having it. Here's Romero from the corner with a 3. Hey, he's got the 3. Jack Attack has been in full mode tonight. 39-14, and 24 unanswered points. Here's number 3. Back out to number 1, defended by Brandon Maurice, and a foul is called. It's going to be BCA ball. It's on number 1 of Barrington. 48 seconds remain in the first half. Barrington have not scored a single point in the quarter. Here's Brandon Maurice, fast half court. Directing traffic a bit, getting it out to Justin Morgan. Now takes it again, defended by 12. Here's Ben Bechet, back out to Costello. Now Romero, Jack Romero again. 41-14. I want to say he has something like 20 points just this quarter. I mean, it has been unfreaking believable. One of the greatest single quarter performances in school history, for sure. Here's number 1, stepping back. 15 seconds remain in the half, trying to put at least 1 point on the quarter, and number 3 missed the shot. And that's gonna do it for Barrington. BCA with one final chance. Braden Maurice doesn't score, and that one goes off at the buzzer. I think they're gonna count it. They do, and so BCA outscore their opponents 28-0 in the second quarter. It's 43-14 after one half. As we enter the second half, a quick recap of this football game in the first quarter. Both teams scored 2 touchdowns, but BCA opted for a 2-point conversion. They scored 4 touchdowns and allowed nothing in the second quarter. And that is why we have a 43-14 score at half. Here's number 23 of Barrington out to 11. Seems they've already somewhat folded a bit. Here's 20, and he missed. He almost put it through. They've already put in their entire bench. Here's Romero wide open after his dominant second quarter, and he's just passed to Cardinale, who missed the shot. But barring some unbelievable God-given miracle, it seems BCA are advancing to yet another final. Of course, opting for that grand slam. They won their first championship yesterday. Here's Braden Maurice with a 3. The marquee game against Sizer, and now tomorrow night will be the championship game. Here's 23. Missed the shot. Great rebound by 22. And he went out of bounds. It would have been white ball anyway. As Ben Boucher recovered it. Here's Jack Romero back out to Maurice. Boucher now, Costello, corner 3. In and out, but Boucher reached to the sky but missed. Trying to do what Romero did earlier. Here he has it again, back out to Romero, who puts a 3 up and through. 49-14, and the run is extended to 34. Here's 11. Whiffed it. Just whiffed it. Here's Braden Maurice defended by the other number 20. He's in the paint. 36 unanswered points. I think I'm just going to keep track of that until the run is over instead of what the score is, because look at the board. Just unbelievable of a second quarter. Here's 23. Couldn't end it. I think that's their main goal, Barrington, for the rest of this game, is end the run. And that's just what they do. A 3-pointer for number 22. It's 51-17. And so it caps off at 36. Here's Jack Romero. Out to Braden Maurice in the corner. Maurice with a floater. He's got it. Here's 23. Driving up a brilliant move, but he couldn't hit the shot, and Jack Romero rebounds it. Here's Braden Maurice stepping back. Driving forward in the paint. Oh, what a pass! What a pass by Braden Maurice, and Michael Cardinale's back on the board. It's 55-17. Here's 22 now. Maybe they're going for a 37-point run now. 22! That one came right for me. Happens to the NBA broadcasters when they're sitting like in the bench where my boy Ben is sitting right now. So let me count. We've scored 6 unanswered points. So 31 to go to break the record that was just set by the school record. Here's 23. Number 23 scores. He cut past the defense brilliantly. A fumble to Bengal in the game. Oh, wait. Here's Braden Maurice. A fumble in the corner, driving up right outside the paint. They've got Justin Morgan. Here's Jack Romero. Back out to Morgan. Morgan with a 3. Doesn't go, and a fumble with a great rebound gets it out to Maurice. Maurice into the paint, and Maurice missed the shot. Trying to get a little fancy razzle-dazzle there. But not this time, say the basketball leaders. I'm not going to say the gods, because I don't want to say that right now. Here's 23. Doesn't go. It goes out of bounds. Jack Romero thought about getting it. I mean, those fans are right on the edge. Why don't they move those chairs back? I mean, I was over there originally. There's like 10 feet in between each row of chairs. Here's a Fomway. A Fomway is on the board. 57-19. 23 now. Defended by Moraes. 4 minutes remain in the third quarter. What a pass. 20 tried to handle it. That ball's knocked out of bounds. They'll say it's by Costello. Number 10 comes out of the game and is replaced by 32. 11 is replaced by 21. And that would have been a great play by Braden Moraes. How he picked it up. Here's 23 with a brilliant spin, but he missed the shot. Here's 22, and he couldn't hit it either. They're going to have a third chance. Here's 22, stepping back beyond the line, defended by Romero, getting it back out to 23, and he missed the shot. It's tipped in the air, and 21 has it, and he missed the shot. How about that? That ball, Braden Moraes with a great play to keep it inbounds, and now he's going to try and Maradona it, or not. He gives it over to Justin Morgan, who hits a three. Green for Justin Morgan. It's a 41-point lead. I am blanking out on what the biggest win of the season was so far. Here's 23 missing a three. It's rebounded by 32 in the paint. 32 trying to twirl around it, but he's traveled. Very, very fast-going game today after yesterday's, especially when it was close. Felt like an eternity. I'm sure we can understand that when Sizer led that game 32-26 halfway through the third quarter, it felt like hell had come among us. For the last, the Eagles not only pulled through, but they dominated the rest of the game after that. And that's just what they did after a first quarter of adversity today. Here's Ben Faraz missing a three. Ends up back in the hands of Justin Morgan, who floats one up, doesn't go. And Ben Bichet tried to sort of extend, but he ran into the padding, which I think may have hindered him there, but he should be grateful for that because he ran to this wall. I'm like kind of nudging into it right now, right here. That wouldn't feel good. Barrington ball now. Here's number 1, defended by Faraz, stepping back a bit. 22 now. Great play. He almost ran into his own teammate though. Now gets it over to 21. Morgan in the area. 2:15 remain in the quarter. Eagles outscoring them 17-6, which is a little more respectable. It's 17-7 now. It was 5 before that. I said 6 by accident. My math hasn't been mathing. If you saw the debacle I went through on my quiz today, you'd see what I mean. Here's Justin Morgan. Bounce pass out to Bichet. Now here's Faraz. Ben Faraz. Here's a Fomway with a floater. Doesn't go. And it ends up right in the hands of number 32 of Barrington. 100 seconds remain in the third quarter. Here's number 1 with a three. Doesn't go. And it's BCA ball. Here's Jack Romero. Out to Ben Faraz in the corner. He's got a three. Ben Faraz from downtown. And they once again have their biggest lead tonight. It's 63-21. Likely candidates tomorrow night include, I almost said Sizer. Thank goodness they're atheist school. We'll call them. Here's 20. On the board, number 20 makes it a 40-point game. South Shore, let me think. Yeah, that's the only one I can really think of right now. Oh, Emmanuel. No, that's later. That's the Connecticut tournament. Here's Justin Morgan. He forced 20 to jump, and he's hit a three. Justin Morgan. Once again, their biggest lead. Final 40 seconds of the third period. A much more merciful one than the second. Here's 22. Oh, that was a good pass. He looked like he was taking a shot, and they capitalized with 2 points. Great play by both number 22 and 1 who hit the shot. Here's Justin Morgan, pump fakes, gets it over to Romero. Ben Faraz now runs into 22, gets it out to Romero. Here's Justin Morgan, pump fakes. Back out to Faraz. Unlikely possession. They're going to try and go for it at the buzzer. Here's Afamwe, can't hit the shot, and they just run out the clock. Shot doesn't go through anyway. It's 66-25 after 3. We enter the fourth quarter in a 41-point game that, unlike what the score says, has had so many theatrics that I'm having trouble finding my voice now. And that's what huge slate of games in the last few games. Here's Justin Morgan missing a 3. 23 now. Taking it past half court. Getting over to number 1. This is called the stat pad quarter for both teams, right? Yeah, that's what it says. We're gonna see something like here, especially in a high school game. Stat padding and theatrics. Good theatrics from both teams that will be captured forever by both my camera and that young gentleman in the middle. Here's 23 missing the shot, and a good play by Afamwe. Here's Ben 10 getting it over to Lucas Costello. Broncos got a 3. His old Grace Baptist football teammates cheer him on after that one. And that pass didn't quite go as planned. Afamwe intercepted it after it went off a Barrington player's fingers. Here's Costello getting it over to Faraz in the paint. Now here's Justin Morgan, pump fake. And that pass is picked off. Back the other way for 23 and 23. Didn't score. Here's Costello, Lucas Costello. Ben Faraz now, back out to Justin Morgan. Deep pass out to Costello in the corner. Bounce pass to Ben Faraz in the paint. Somehow, some way, that ball did not find its way through the orange rim. 6:17 remain in this game. Here's 3. They've got 12 wide open. They've got 1 in the corner. Back out to 23. He couldn't hit the shot. He was on fire in the first quarter. That was 15-14 after 1. Was a timeout. Of course, the 36-0 run happened directly after that. Timeout comes to a close. Izaki Ribeiro is in the game for Ben Bechet. Still 2 of the original 6 remain. And after a short delay, in the final 6 minutes, or 5 minutes and 59 seconds to be exact, will be kicked off by Justin Morgan, handing it over to Lucas Costello. Here's Faraz, back out to Costello. Now Justin Morgan. Here's Afamwe in the paint. Good play by Ribeiro to keep it in bounds. Here's Costello now. Looks like he was going to take a 3 for a second, option not to. Here's Afamwe, heavily contested, and he hands it off to number 12 of Barrington. Good steal for number 12. Here's 23, getting it over to 3. Back out to 23, defended by Costello. Now Faraz. 23 still has it. Back out to 3, and 3 couldn't hit the 3, and it's rebounded directly off the rim by Lucas Costello. Here's Ben Faraz, couldn't handle a pass, but got it under his belt just in time. Now here's Justin Morgan getting it over to Costello, who's fouled by number 1 of Barrington. 24 comes in the game for number 10. 44-point Eagle lead. Bounce pass to Afamwe in the paint. Now back out to Justin Morgan. Morgan under his belt a little bit, getting it over to Costello. And Costello right outside the paint, missed the shot. Here's 23 now. Number 23 can't hit the shot. It was a brilliant play, but the shot, he shot it just too high. Here's Ben Faraz, back out to Costello, who lost the ball, but it's recovered by number 1. Number 1 is fouled by Afamwe. Here's number 3. 4 minutes and 25 remaining in the game, and number 1 has hit a 3. Did somebody like scream as he shot it there? Interesting. Here's Justin Morgan. Out the bench for us. Now here's Costello, defended by 1. Here's Izaki Rivera, the monster. Passes to the Family, who scores. It's 71 points. Here's number 1. Over the 23. Trying to hit the 3, and there's nothing number 12 can do about that one. 71 to 28. Feels, now that those Barrington guys aren't near me, feels almost laughable saying it, but it's true. Costello out to Justin Morgan, defended by 24. Here's a fun way, tried to bounce pass to Ribeiro. Ribeiro trying to fight it out. It's a jump ball. It's going to be black ball. There's been 3 jump balls this game. Both of them, until this point, had gone to BCA. In the first and second quarter, after Barrington somehow won the opening tip-off. Game obviously long out of reach for Barrington. Has been since halftime. Here's number 11 with a 3. Can't sink it. Little scramble for it, and it's Justin Morgan's ball. Giving it over to Costello. And ends up on the ground. Here's 24. I guess you can call that a steal for 24. He'll be happy to see it in his books. Here's 23 with a 3. Doesn't go. And a good jumping rebound by Justin Morgan. Here's Justin Morgan. He wanted to take the 3. I don't believe they are permitted to do that right now. Here's Izaki Ribeiro. No, it didn't go through. And now Justin Morgan, of course, not taking the 3. Gets it over to a Family, who can't hit the shot. Good! Rebound by Ben Faraz. After his first shot, and Ribeiro's shot a few seconds ago, brutally missed. That one hung around the rim for a bit and went through. Here's number 1. Out to 23, defended by a Family. 23, brilliant backward pass out to 1, and 1 has hit a 3. The highlight of the night for the Barrington Bengals. Or they're called a 2, but still, it was a great play either way. Here's Justin Morgan to Izaki Ribeiro. Almost hit it again, but it doesn't go. 1 minute and 45 seconds remain to decide who's advancing. I really wonder which team's going to come out on top tonight. That's a foul. They call it. Wait, that's going to be on 23? Okay, I thought that was an offensive foul. It seemed like that's what the ref signaled with his hands, making the little numbers. Here's 23 with a 3 off the rim. 90 seconds remain, and the Eagles will likely... Well, Johnny Pepka's in the game. Yeah, I think they're going to try and score with like their backups. Here's Costello, out to Pepka. Johnny Pepka, back out to Costello. Wide open, he is of course not shooting this. Pepka again, trying to penetrate the enemy lines. A brilliant defensive play by 23. Knocking it out of bounds, but it's going to remain. Here's Costello, back out to, I almost call him Pesky. It's Pepka. Here's Izaki Ribeiro. Passing over to Family, but the pass didn't land. We're inside a minute. And number 23 missed the layup. Second chance, doesn't go. We remember an earlier point in the game where they missed 4 shots in 1 possession. Here's a Family from the free throw line. 75 to 31. And a timeout taken. Apparently, or they're going to say, no timeouts taken. There's substitutions being made, and that's why those Grace Baptist guys were cheering over there, because Rafael Pereira is in the varsity game for the first time. 35 seconds remain. Here's 24, missing it well short, and Rafael Pereira has the ball. give it to Raphael. 25 seconds if they even shoot. They do not. Barrington are getting it right back. There's 20 seconds left in this game. Here's 23. Back out to 24, and are they just going to hold there or try to shoot? Here's 11 with a 3. Doesn't go, and that is going to officially do it. Final 5 seconds, and what a moment for Ben Faraz. Oh no, he's going to give it out to Johnny Petco to finish out the game. We'll see you tomorrow night.